How's it going? I'm the JJ. Welcome back to Anna Mondays. Let's get right back into it. Today we're going to be doing something different, because someone in the comments section, someone I actually know in real life, shout out to Matt Stefano, how's it going, dude? He suggested we do some movies in Anna Mondays, some that might not necessarily have the largest filmography, as far as directors who did them. So this time I picked Anomalisa. It's a movie I saw last year, 2015, and, very heartbreaking, heartfelt movie, and I feel like this would be a good forum to talk about it, since it is technically animation. It's puppet claymation. So since you have that style, it's still technically animation, and we have a hole to fill. Sorry for the people who expected JoJo Part 2. You'll be getting that next week, guaranteed. Just wanted to change things up at the behest of comments section. So yeah, today we're doing Anomalisa. The movie starts off with a narration that's just running over itself confusedly, and it's very clever, because the point of it is to show the conversation itself is just mundane life conversation. They layer it over one another, and I like that, because it's literally just showing you that mundane life, small talk, can just run together. It's a very boring, droll existence. Before we get into the actual meat of the story, I want to talk a little more about the puppets. The actual puppets used for this, I've never noticed this. I don't think a lot of them do it, but it had extra articulation lines. Like, there were some articulation lines in the face that I was just kind of like, yeah, maybe you don't zoom in if you're gonna have such large lines in the face. When far away, they look really good. Like, I mean really good, like lifelike good, scary good. And then they zoom in and you see those lines, and it's just, because it was so lifelike and animated beautifully from the far, when we zoom in and see that, it kind of shatters my disbelief a little bit. And the fix for it isn't that hard. All you really have to do is just not really zoom too much into that area. And I know sometimes you need to, but then maybe cover up the articulation lines or something. Could you not put play in, like some sort of clay or Play-Doh style material in it and just match the skin colors? For zoom-ins only is what I'm saying, and then blend. So we're on this plane with this guy, and he's just looking at this piece of paper, this note from one of his exes, we can assume. And it starts with, "Fuck you. Just fuck you." Whoa, getting real heavy in the first 2 or 3 minutes in this movie. The fuck? I don't, What the fuck's going on? We find out much later that what the fuck's going on is that that's a letter from, as I've mentioned, one of his other relationships. And we'll get into more about his relationships when it actually starts to hit the forefront in the movie. Just know that, oh boy, there's some misses in comedy in this. I'm pretty sure I saw Starburns Studio. Starburns, lighting up the sky. I have to point out that not all the comedy hits, despite being a lot of writers and directors from Community involved on this project. Some of the comedy just doesn't hit. When it doesn't hit, they usually follow it up with something that does, like capping it off. But some of the missed jokes are indeed just missed jokes, and if I complained about them elsewhere, they bother me here just as much. I have to mention them here. One of the best examples of this was the hand-holding. They're on the plane, and as they land, the guy next to Michael, our main character, squeezes his hand really tightly. I'm not your wife, so let my hand go. And then it just cuts back to him. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean, it's a reflex. I didn't mean to. No, it's okay. And then goes back to his seat, and then kind of leans back in. He's like, no, seriously, it's okay. You can let go now, though. I just think it starts sort of like an unfunny setup, and then the punchline is just like a nice chuckle moment. Not an out-loud laughter. It's not just like, you can let go now, though. No, it's a nice little cap to actually make it a real joke rather than just like a funny, awkward moment. So Michael gets into a cab, and if you've ever been in a New York cab, it's like getting into Satan's driving pit. But the speech within the cab, "Hey, yo, you gonna go over there? You should check this place out. It's a nice place. You like pasta? You should eat this place. It's over here." And it's just him just basically directing him what to do, when Michael very clearly has something he wants to do here. He has a set, actual reason to be going to this area. I don't need your bullcrap on, "Hey, go to the zoo. The zoo's a nice place. You go to the zoo. Manhattan Zoo. Go to the fucking zoo." I'm not gonna go to the fucking zoo. The way that they divide the speech between Michael, who's very clearly not trying to, well, talk, and then the cab driver, who's doing everything in his power to, "Hey, you should go here, you should go here, you should go here," trying to have a conversation. And the way that the two mesh, as in they don't, it's a very realistic divided conversation. And it's accurately awkward, which is very hard to do, to force an awkward style conversation. I mentioned this a little earlier. You should go to the zoo. You should go to the zoo. It's a nice place. You should go to the zoo, you should go here, you should go to this place. I'm only in for a day. What was that? I'm only in for a day. Then you should go to the zoo. It only takes one day to go to the zoo. It's like zoo-sized. See those lines, you could tell some people from Community came over. I love that line. That's one of my favorite quotes. You should go to the zoo. It only takes one day. Zoo-sized. Physical comedy is really what sets this into that film category and really makes this one the message, obviously. But the way that they handle the movement in these puppets, the animation, whoever's the animation team on this, hire them for a lot of puppeteering, because goddamn was it fluent. Most of it. To the point where there was a couple of scenes that weren't, and it was very noticeable. The physical comedy they managed to pull off with the puppet motions, for example, Michael walks into the hotel, and you see the guy on the computer. Oh yeah, how's it going? By the way, everybody, that voice that I did, that's everyone's voice except for Michael, as of right now. We have one voice actor, Michael, and then we have Tom Noonan playing everyone else. Remember that. But anyway, the guy's typing on the computer, and just, oh yeah, oh, so you're here, okay. I'd like a smoking room. Oh, okay, smoking room. And I'd like a quiet room if you have one. Yeah, sure. Just let me check my archives. And you'll be right there. So the guy rings the bell. Bellboy takes him into the elevator, to which they make their way up to his room, and they have more awkward conversation. Michael, you very clearly see the difference between people who don't like small talk, Michael, and people who do like small talk, the other people in this movie. And it's not that it's a matter of liking small talk, it's a matter of some people just can't handle it, and I genuinely get that from Michael. He says it in the movie multiple times. I have a sickness. I'm not quite right in the head. I can't function during small talk. I don't want to make a deal out of things. If I ask you for salt, just hand me the salt. Don't, oh, you know what's funny about salt? Give me the fucking salt. But in the elevator specifically, you have like the whole, for example, weather's been good. Yes. Very, very, very good. The set pieces in this movie are superb. Can you call it a set piece? They're more dioramas, aren't they? But you know what I'm saying. The backgrounds are meticulously crafted. And I've seen impressive stuff before. This was 1-1. There's these little details, like the stuff on the top of the notepad from hotels, like the inked insignias, and just little tiny details that if you were to miss, it wouldn't even matter. It would just, when you do them, it just feels so much more real, but it's not like the biggest deal. They took the time to still do that. They use the full extent of their 3D dioramas. It's just, for example, when he first walks into the hotel room, you have that straightaway shot. You'll see a little maybe here, but it's mainly this shot. And then he goes to the bathroom, and they just have that twist, that pan, and you just see the fullness of the room, which really, really helps with the illusion that this is an actual room, not just a box or a half box of just props. It really feels lived in and real. He orders room service, and the way that he does it, he orders, hey, can I get this, and this, and this, and then right afterwards, they go, so you wanted a chop salad with literally every little bit of his order, and the whole time you can see he's just going, yes, yeah, I want it, no, yeah, I didn't want to make a deal of this, yeah. So he's in his hotel room and he calls his wife and his kid, and you're not really sure that it's his wife and his kid yet. You definitely get confirmation later. When the kid hits the phone, I'm kind of like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And he calls him Slugger. I was like, either that or like Grandpa. It's one of two options here. But you're not 100% sure because, as I mentioned before, Tom Noonan voices everybody. So the wife is, hey, hello, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then the kid is, hey, hello, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Everybody has that voice. So it's hard to differentiate. It's a little disorienting. But again, everything slides into place throughout the movie. Everything clicks, which, if it does on the first watch-through like that, well-crafted movie. So yeah, he's talking to his wife on the phone, and it's, again, mundane. It's boring. A lot of the dialogue is flat on purpose in this movie. Very cleverly so. Not boring, flat. There's a difference. It's flat because it's literally supposed to be a miserable guy in a flat feeling right now. He just feels meh. Kid grabs the phone. The first thing he says to him is, hey, did you buy me something yet? No, not yet. I'm gonna get you something later. Okay, I'll see you later then. And then moves on. And then the mother picks up again, and he's so direct, isn't he? the way that he reacts, the way that Michael, our main character, reacts to his kid, his own kid doing that to him, is just fucking heartbreaking. Accurate and heartbreaking. You just see his soul-crushing reaction of just... Wow, how powerful can a puppet performance be? And speaking of alliteration, puppet performance, puppet penis. I saw puppet penis in this movie. Thanks, movie? I mean, it's official. I've seen it all. That note from the plane comes back, and he's in his hotel room, and it's basically the visions of his past haunting him. It's this one woman, Bella, who he actually very much liked, and you can tell he very much has feelings for her, which makes it... The disease that they're portraying here in cheating is just so sad, and the mental disease that he has that's separate, because there's probably multiple issues with this guy. Having his visions of his past haunt him, Bella, in the form of the note from the plane, and you have that literal haunting, ghost-like a vision of her just walking around, for lack of a better term. So we get some more heavy shit, and Michael calling one of his ex-relationships, Bella, the note owner, and she seems so happy and eager to see him again, and just the relationship that they have is just clearly so fractured, broken, splintered, almost non-existent. You know, I've been waiting for you to call. Just, yeah, you know, I've missed you too, blah, blah, blah. Why would you even call, you know? And then he brings up the married thing, and it's like, why would you... Seriously, what the fuck are you doing here? So he winds up getting really drunk with her at this really depressing thing where she just walks out. Oh, God, it's so... I honestly can't... There's nothing to really take notes about other than Michael just kind of fucks things up. And... Granted, there wasn't much to do right in the first place. This entire scenario is just that fucked up. So we move on as he's drunkenly stumbling towards this 24-hour toy shop. I almost said porn shop, because that's what it is! Yay! I mean, it is not really a surprise twist. It is obvious. We knew from the beginning that was going to happen. But the actual payoff is still funny. And look, if you can Google Maps your way from point A to point B, you know the fucking journey, but you don't know what the journey's going to be. I think that's the perfect scenario for this. You know what's happening. You know point A to point B, you see on Google Maps. But the actual journey turned out to be fun, and I enjoyed it, so who gives a shit? When you're voice acting, you really need to overcompensate for the fact that you can't show emotion, like, physically. You can't, like, visually show it. So you have to compensate and show it through your voice. You have to maybe ham it up a little bit. Not a lot of voice actors, celebrity voice actors, that is, sorry, get that. Like, for example, Liam Neeson in Ponyo. Didn't really click. That was really awkward. But in this, I gotta give all the credit in the world to Jennifer Jason Leigh. Now, I want to talk about how clever this movie is, because, like I just mentioned, celeb voices usually fail. Every other voice in this movie is Tom Noonan. The same voice. So when you have everyone play the same voice, the main actor has a different voice, the chick lead has a different voice, the main love interest. And the way that she sounds comparatively to everyone else is fucking perfect. Now, I'm gonna put a little asterisk next to that. There are absolutely times where she proves my point that celeb voices don't work. There are times where she laughs like it'll just be like a, oh, ha, 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 yeah, the line I'm supposed to deliver. And it sounds so unnatural. There are absolutely times where that happens. It sounds like she's delivering a line rather than feeling something or emoting something. So it happens. There's times where it happens. But Jennifer Jason Leigh's performance is so good, and the cleverness of having everyone else have the same voice, I really think that fixes the problem that I have in a lot of other celeb voice movies. Jen Jason Leigh really nailed this. Her unsure tone and the tendency to downplay herself, it was so depressingly real. And again, it wasn't line delivery. It felt like she genuinely felt it. She's like this awkwardly weird, yet real, adorably so character, and you just don't expect Jennifer Jason Leigh, especially if you watched fucking Hateful Eight this year, because this is the same year. Imagine you watch that, you're just like, oh, well, you sing, that's like the only thing you have in common. I do have to mention some of the dialogue is a little weird. I like pressing the buttons. Why'd you have to hit the button? You know, it's just so buttony. Come on. It's delivered awkwardly, I think it's written awkwardly, and I think the actual intent and placement of where it is just sort of slightly souring of the scene, if that makes sense. So Jennifer Jason Leigh, her name's Lisa, by the way, I don't think I said that yet, her name's Lisa. Lisa and Michael go back to the hotel room. Lisa had a friend who everyone apparently finds more attractive than her, and when Michael picks Lisa over her, it's this really sad moment of just, wait, really? Me? Nobody. Oh, okay, nobody ever picks me. Oof. But they make it back to the hotel room. He convinces her to sing because he finds her voice enchanting, which, honestly, if everyone sounded like Tom Noonan in the world, of course you do. But, all jokes aside, he has her sing Girls Just Want to Have Fun, and... which is kind of... it's weird. It's such a weirdly somber scene for such a happy song. And then he kisses her, and that's when I have such a roar of different emotions in my body. I have regret, shame, happiness, despair, and hope all swirling around at once, but for different people in different ways, and it's just this weird, what is happening? When he kisses her, that actual kiss happens, that stings, because you damn well know this is not going to end up with them being happily ever after. I do think it's surreal to see this from his point of view, from the cheater's point of view, because it does lend a sort of understanding to it. Not that you should ever do it, but like, wow, I weirdly get your thought process. You can understand a serial killer, it doesn't mean you're going to serial kill. I do want to mention there was only 2 places in this movie that I was kind of like, the animation's a little weird and choppy, and it looks kind of like old school Wallace and Gromit rather than new school puppet animation, which is kind of a problem for me. And that's the ice falling in the bucket, which was much earlier. Not a big deal. Not going to really, you know, disarm this movie for this, but kind of annoying. And then now when they zoom in on her lips when she's in bed, Lisa, and it's just the way it moves, so choppy, so kind of awkward to look at. The idea is nice, but again, if this was a live-action movie, that shot would have worked. Puppet, not so much. The movie's named Anomalisa. Anomaly. Lisa. Sadly, Lisa learned the word anomaly through this guy's book, Michael's book. He is a book writer. He's coming to deliver a seminar. That's what he's here for. So you have Lisa say, oh, I learned the word anomaly through your book. Oh, well, you're my Anomalisa then. Because they have the whole conversation, oh, we're probably not going to get to do this forever. This is going to be a one-time thing. She even says she's kind of okay with it, which still kind of stings because I still kind of don't believe that. It's like, yeah, this is the only guy that made you feel a certain way. For it to be there in 24 hours and gone in 24 hours is depressing to me. Let me do that one more time. She is someone who finally has interest in her and finds her unconditionally lovable and interesting in the moment. And he really sees all the positives in her, and he's also married, and oh, now we get to the sex scene, because yep, we get a full puppet sex scene, and I don't just mean like puppets smashing together. I mean everything. This was really awkward to watch. I don't know if it's just me. I'm not uncomfortable with sex in movies. I'm really not. When it's 2 puppets, I don't know what it is. This weirded me out, man. This really, again, this didn't need to be puppets. If this was live action, this would have been a very passionate scene. The scene itself was handled great, and I've heard that they took a lot of time making it seem like actual sex, rather than, like I just said, puppets smacking together. And it looked, the animation behind their movements was so realistic. Don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking the animator who spent like 5 months doing that. What I'm saying is, don't have sex with puppets, you fucking weirdos. Oh, earlier I said I've seen everything. Now I've literally seen everything. I've seen puppets realistically fuck. Should I reconsider what I'm doing with my life? Michael gets an unexpected wake-up call to come into the manager's office. He tells Mike that he read his book and business is up 90%. Actually a really fun reoccurring bit from the entire movie. Lisa said this to him earlier. He basically called him into having an affair with him. Look, the discretion is high here. We won't tell anyone that you had an affair. Have one with me, though. Most awkward thing in the movie. Everyone in the hotel has one mind, which actually shows he's paranoid and has mental disorders, because that is an actual mental disorder, thinking massive amounts of people are one person, a hive mind, or changing, either way. But to just see all these people coming together, it's just this weird, awkward scene that culminates in a nightmare. So, other than the intent of confirming he's actually mentally sick, I don't see a lot of point to this, other than just like tricking the audience a little bit. Ha ha, hee hee, oh. Just doesn't seem very necessary, I guess is the word. I really like how this movie portrays the fine line between helpless and hopeless love and psychotic obsession, which I think is a very clear message in this, at least that's what I read. Sometimes those love lines in movies like, oh, I'd run all around the world for you, oh, I'll never let you go. There's a very fine line between creepy and adorable. They crossed that line a lot in this movie. Like I said, it was all a nightmare, and this was kind of weirdly... We took like a weird road trip there. It's just like a detour. But whatever, we're here, we're up, everything's good again. I thought this was an adorable line. I really love this. Ah, you were thrashing in your sleep. You hit me with your elbow. Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's okay. I kind of liked it. It was intimate. Like, Lisa, this is what I mean. It's all due to Jennifer Jason Leigh's delivery on the line there. He wakes up, offers to leave his wife for her, which again is still sad, especially considering, you know, he's already starting to see the flaws, the way she pulls the fork out of her mouth and rubs against her teeth. Ah, could you not do that? Could you not talk with your mouth open? Could you not do this? But you see that the honeymoon phase is over. The idea of her being every day in his life clicks in, and she's not unique. She's no longer special. The diamond or jewel has lost its luster, so to speak. You know, obviously, even if he did leave his wife for her, look at what he's doing with his wife now, and Bella before. It's smarter to just not get involved with this guy, and that's part of why this character, Lisa, gets the weirdest happy ending in the end. I mean, it's not even happy, it's still bittersweet, but it's the best that could have happened for her. So again, the unique anomaly turns normal or bitter when marriage sets in, and they smartly have her voice very slowly transitioning into Tom Noonan. You hear her, like, it's very clearly Jennifer Jason Leigh, and they're just using a fade-in switch to slowly bring in the Tom. Michael's meltdown during his meeting reveals just how sad/sick he actually is. In a weird twist that I didn't see coming, he brings the sex geisha doll back to his son as a gift, which that's such a community joke. That is such a fucking community joke. And the whole thing is singing this weird Japanese song that I'll get into in the trivia. But in the end, they both get what they deserve. Lisa gets to live on with a new hope and an reinvigorated feeling of attraction towards the world, and oh, I get to be happy. The guy that I looked up to slightly did this with me, so wow, that was a big jump start back up. You weren't having sex in 8 years, and now you're sleeping with a guy that you actually legitimately wanted to, like, do stuff with in that aspect. Great. Hell yeah, Lisa's good. She's writing the note, she's smiling on the side of the car, it's good to see her happy and reinvigorated. Fuck yeah, this didn't turn out as bad as I thought it would. And then you see Michael, who's on the steps, and depressed and stuck in his life, and can't leave due to the kid, and having nowhere else to go. That being the main one, he even says it. Where would I go, slugger? Where would I go? And that's all I'm going to really say on that. We're going to move on to the fun stuff. The film was crowdfunded through Kickstarter, so hey, it's not all a complete rip-by-it. The first R-rated animated film nominated for the Academy Awards Best Animated Feature. Charlie Kaufman's first stop-motion animated feature. The movie takes place in 2005. Apparently, that's really weird. I didn't even notice that. I read that online, so take that one with a grain of salt. BJ Novak was a Kickstarter backer for this movie. Thought that's pretty cool. Only had 3 voice actors in it. Jennifer Jason Leigh playing Lisa. David Thewlis playing Michael. And Tom Noonan playing everybody. And Michael's in every scene except for the last. No word like Anomalisa or Anomalisa in Japanese means goddess of heaven, which Lisa in the note at the end, looking out the side of the car, she writes that towards Michael. Yeah, there's no word like that. And the geisha doll at the end, like I mentioned, this is the payoff for that setup. The geisha doll is singing the story of Momotaro, which is a Japanese tale about a peach boy who goes to fight demons. And that's all I really got for you this week. If you can, like and subscribe. Click the arrow below. Useless sometimes, though this time it won't be. You'll see what we're doing next week. It will actually be what we're doing next week.